what's hot now. Fair in love and war, but what about sports? The top Ohio high school girls basketball team is taking some heat for winning its first-round playoff game by a score of, get this, 108-1. The coach says his team wasn't trying to run up the score, embarrass the other team. In fact, they took steps not to disrespect their opponent. But, you know, 108-1 that's hard. Yeah. That's hard to handle. It feels very one-sided. And in fact, the coach of the losing team has been fired for the athletic director. I'm sorry, not the athletic director.
By the way, 1 point in basketball means that you didn't even make a single shot. You just got one free throw. Did anyone else count? I was like,
but should there have been a point where after maybe 50 points or you stop?
I do, and that's up to the referee to do that.
That's what I say. Why is it up to the team? Why is the team in trouble, not the referee or the
Is that up
district?
to the referee?
No, you can't stop a game.
You can't stop a game?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know because I played basketball in my church league when I was like a kid, and I was terrible. No, we were so bad. We lost we were this team. We were this team. We lost by 100 points.
Bad news
but we would get to around 50 points, and then the ref would be like, "Okay, let's just end the game, have some lunch."
But that's because it's church, and if you pray, you get points up it. No, I'm like,
but you're okay with this?
I'm totally okay with it. If I beat you by 3 million points and you got beat by 3 million points, I want my 3 million points.
How old are these kids?
The high school.
High school. I mean, I think my brother is a high school football coach, and he always says that there's nothing more unattractive and unsportsmanlike than running up the score on another team. And I think the responsibility falls on the coach.
But I don't think they were, though.
But the coach said he didn't run up the score.
Let me say this, because I'm getting ready to score right now. I understand you want to, protect their feelings, and I understand they got their feelings hurt. But listen, if they only making 1 point, they know they suck, and they need to continue to know that they suck. If this ain't no surprise to them that they not good.
They just had a bad day.
It's like heartbreaking. I feel bad.
But the league needs to know how bad they are so that they maybe can switch up the teams the next season. I don't know what it is, but they need to know how bad they are.
When you were on that team that was losing and you found out you couldn't play that sport, you went and did something else, and look, you on here. Let them go live their dreams and go do something else. Sports ain't that.
I didn't quit the team. We stayed on the team.
Look at your true angels over
That's when I went into boy banding.
Yeah. And you succeeded great.
Exactly.
That's a coaching call.
Moving on. I think it was bad, but I mean, Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey have been split up for over a year and a half, if you're counting, all right? Couple was married for 6 years. They have 2 really cute kids together. Mariah has seemingly moved on. She recently announced her engagement to James Packer. She's got a beautiful big ring out of that one.
Yeah.
But Nick told People magazine that after their split, he just isn't ready to date yet, and his recent Instagram posts give the impression that he is valuing some private time. So is there a certain amount of time you should wait before you start dating again if you had a breakup, or is it
depends on what you call dating? I mean, hooking up is one thing, and then actually being in a relationship is another, right? I mean, you want to get your feet wet again with someone else pretty immediately after that.
I mean, if there's no emotional connection, and like as Lance says, like I have someone close to me who's just playing the field and having fun after a breakup, and they're enjoying themselves. There's no commitment.
See, that would
they're having fun.
me.
But there's no timeline. I think it's up to the person.
And there's nothing better than that transitional person because you know exactly what it is.
They know their transition.
You're just using somebody.
They know that if you're fresh out of a relationship, you're the transitional person.
You say, hey, I'm just using you for sex?
Yeah,
you don't have to say it. You just know it.
You have to be very honest with people. Listen, a lot of people try to transition off me. I should be a software that they sell in the stores. No, sir, and they don't tell you. Let me know that you transitioning with me. You know, who am I? You don't do that to me.
I wouldn't want to just jump into bed with Joe and Mike and Paul and blah, blah.
Get your mind off of things.
I'm more the other type. I would like to go into the wilderness.
Shut it down?
Yeah.
Like the wild?
I put a lock on it, but I just don't want to then. I need space. I kind of agree with Nick.
I can have space with that, though, too, and then push them out.
I don't mean open space. I mean just some quiet time to reflect.
Reflective time.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But then when you're ready to dip back in, wouldn't that be a transition person again? Like that first person again? So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So just dip right in really early on.
All right. Go on vacation.
All All right, if you're looking for a fun, glamorous wedding on the cheap, because that's the kind of people we are, you may opt for a pop-up wedding. This exists. Pop Bliss is holding its first luxury wedding in New York City. 10 lucky couples will be selected for this. The winners will pay $5,000 a pop, get you a welcome party, brunch, a glam suite, and a pop-up destination wedding. The only thing is, you have no idea where it's going to be. Okay,
so
you pay the $5,000 and you get this surprise wedding. And they also, what do? 300 other people, they can watch it.
Right, they live stream it.
Yeah, live streaming. Yeah.
This is so 2016.
For $5,000, yes, I will pop up in this wedding. Yes.
And you know why they said that, Meredith? They talking about pop-up weddings because they done already had their damn wedding. So now everybody pop up at the wedding.
Watch out with that pen.
I get lethal with a pen.
So you don't like the idea of a pop-up wedding?
No, well, for me, I don't have a man now. For another $300, you throw a groom in. Yeah, you can pop up anywhere you want with a wedding and a bridal
but I'm
party.
saying, let's say you did meet the right guy. Would you want a pop-up wedding, or would you like to have more say in what it is?
I want to have to say, first of all, I waited a long time. I've been planning this since I was an
What's your
embryo.
wedding then? You must have an idea what your wedding is.
I've been planning my mother's womb. I was like, I'm gonna get married by this time, and
So do you have it mapped out?
I have it mapped out.
What
What
is
he's
it?
gonna wear, what my grandparents and
What is it then?
Where is the wedding?
First of all, I want him on a horse, and I want him to come and
Oh
pick.
my God.
No, I want him to come down the aisle on a horse, and I want him to pick me up. I want to jump on the horse, and then I like fling over, and my hair flows.
So what you're saying is you want Howdy Doody, Mr. Ed at your wedding.
Yeah.
You look like Mr. Ed.
Everyone watch he's not married.
Your dream is not to have a horse come into a church and pick.
Absolutely. And
Really?
now whether the horse can handle me, I don't know. But I'm gonna try to jump up on that horse.
Okay.
Anyone to watch this?
I'm done. Okay.
Pop up.
Hop along. Yeah. Okay. No, let's switch it. No one is. Let's talk about. No, actually, this is serious now. Okay. Like, yep. All right. No one is comfortable about the homeless situation in this country. Obviously, it's a very serious situation. But a tech worker in San Francisco who complained about the rise of what he describes as, these are his words, homeless riffraff, has people fired up. He openly tweeted to San Francisco's mayor and police chief his frustration with the homelessness in San Francisco. He cited incidents where he and his girlfriend and their families were terrified by homeless people yelling, screaming, and exposing themselves. And he says wealthy people in the city earned that right and shouldn't have to, quote, see the pain, struggle, and despair of homeless people on his way to work every day. He has since apologized for referring to them as riffraff, but stands by the sentiment of what he said.
Well, the thing that sort of pisses you off in this article, he says it affects wealthy, working people. We're all people. It doesn't matter if we're homeless or not. So his article was, it was damning, and I said, instead of he's part of the problem, not part of the solution. He's just poking holes into the problem. Be part of the solution.
What
Figure out
is
something.
the solution, though? We've dumped these people on the street. So what
It's
is
a mental
the
health solution. I mean, it's a mental health problem.
But what are we doing about it?
There's programs there. It's like, all he wanted to do was
No,
complain.
the numbers are getting bigger, not smaller.
And Super Bowl, because this happened in San Francisco, right? At Super Bowl, they said you couldn't even find a homeless person on the street.
Right.
So what happened that week compared to every other week?
I think we talk a good game, but what do we really do?
Agree.
That's what I wonder about.
And I also think, for me, when I lived in Philadelphia, my office was in a pretty scary location in Philadelphia. It was low rent, it was a nice building, and I took what I could afford. And I think any time that your personal safety feels threatened as a woman or as a man by a homeless person, then you have the right to call the police and you have the right to demand action in your city or in your town. I think that there's so many people that are completely unstable and really don't have the resources to help them take care of themselves. That's different.
But
I understand what
person or not a homeless person
I
as
agree.
well. There's a lot of unstable people that have homes.
Right. In my situation, it was
That's true. I just don't want us to blanket statement that over everyone.
I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm speaking specifically about my situation in Philadelphia, and there were times when I would leave my office and I would be scared because there was a lot of drug abuse happening by homeless people in my neighborhood. So I understand what he's saying. When you walk out with your little girls, there's not homeless people screaming and yelling.
Oh my God, they're all over on the Upper West Side. Absolutely.
By your apartment?
Oh, by Starbucks. I live by the projects. Yes, there's a lot of homeless people sit out there. And I disengage. I don't necessarily approach, but I don't disengage. And I want to protect my kids, but it's not that I don't not recognize the problem. You ask for a solution. San Francisco is one of the wealthiest cities, so is New York City. Why don't corporations that are based in San Francisco allot money money or
They do
something
that already.
but even
They
more
love-
so,
and they seem to
if this
just go
guy
lots
has
more
a
money
problem,
than any
the
other
wealthy
city
worker
in the
San Francisco,
country.
excuse me, if there's a guy that works, no, but if he works in the city, why doesn't he go to his company and say,
Oh,
we
I
have a
agree.
problem
I think
here?
there's a much
Yeah.
better solution. I think he's incredibly insensitive and completely off base by calling people riffraff, and that's unexcusable.
That's
What
someone's
I'm
kid.
saying is that his sentiment is a sentiment, and I think a lot of us would feel if our personal safety, our children, our parents were threatened by somebody that was, on drugs or somebody that was acting violent and
I have
threatening
a
towards
different
us.
perspective of that because I understand what you're saying. When I see a homeless person, a lot of times the first thing I want to do is give them $1, give them something out of my pocket. That's how I think when I see
my
them.
reaction.
Because any one of us could be in that situation. Thank God that we're not. So I agree with you that he wrote the letter and he wanted to do something better. I think the attitude is what we're taking issue with because that type of attitude is never going to change anything.
No.
It makes things worse.
Yeah. Right.
And
exactly.
9 times out of 10, I've never been bothered by anybody that's homeless.
Yeah.
They keep to themselves of anything, like you said. You want to reach out, you want to give them a helping
And
hand.
I think if you look at the stats, they're more likely to be the victim than they are to be the perpetrator. So.